everyone, to a special bonus episode of Apron Podcast with Chia Boys. I am your host, Michael Respass, and with me, as always, is your doctor-recommended dose of nerdiness, Carlos Rodriguez, a.k.a. Your Nerd Today. Carlos, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing good.
This was supposed to be our second episode. We decided to do the first one just so we don't cut it short. I think we tried to do this once before and add a bonus as our second, and we felt like we were flying by the last matches we want to talk about. So we'll go over this first.
We'll dedicate some time.
This will probably get released same day as the other episode because I am working a double tonight into tomorrow, so I don't know that I'll be able to release our 89th episode, which we're recording after this, until later tomorrow or Saturday. So Saturday, these both might be coming out because this is a prediction episode and we need this to come out first. Before that,
fair.
before
That's very fair.
Before Double or Nothing, we need this to come out, and we know everybody on Sunday is going to want to listen to predictions all day. But
hell yeah, and us first.
But we'll probably try to get this out on Saturday. So we are going to do this very quick. Every time we say we're going to do this in 20 minutes or a half an hour, it takes us an hour. So we are doing a new setup. Hopefully, we keep this setup consistent with any other bonus prediction episode. We have labeled 4 matches we want to talk about. The rest we're just going to give our predictions. We're not focusing much time and energy, maybe a sentence, and that's it, and we're going to flow right down. So without further ado, and we didn't even go over this because I jumped on, we talked real quick. I will say you have the same list as me, Carlos. I will go down the line and then skip over the 4 matches we are talking about.
Yep.
So
sounds good.
I think we're right here on the Wikipedia, and if anything else gets added, we will put out on Twitter what our prediction is, because in reality, one match is not official yet because Rampage will announce one of those competitors still. Because
and I'm assuming Rampage is live, I think, too, right?
Yeah, it is. Every time before a pay-per-view, they do live Wednesday and Friday, so there's nothing we could do about it. We couldn't record, and we had to record tonight. So we were recording Thursday night, so we don't really know what's happening on Rampage yet. So on that note, we will not see you when we see you. I just realized I started the same way I end the episode.
Let's wait for it.
So we're going to go to the pre-show very quickly. Carlos, we have Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese, Smart Mark Sterling.
Hookhausen, yeah.
Yeah, Hookhausen.
This is going to be a good match.
Yeah, and again, I'm going quickly. It's pre-show, which means we're going quickly. Hookhausen, it's got to be the start of something beautiful. This is going far, and I might even say this is going to tag team championships.
It could, man. It could be like a rock and sock connection.
I mean, they are going to. They're going. I mean, that ugly ass merchandise they have with Hookhausen with that ugly face. They need something better than that. And there's going to be
2.
time.
You didn't see the second.
No. I think there's actually 3. There's like a Send Hookhausen. I think there's a Hookhausen, and then there's the one with the ugly face.
Yeah, I don't like that ugly face.
Yeah, no, and they're going to have to change that. I think something with the faces would be cool, but that just wasn't it.
Hook getting the rub though, man.
Yeah, and
he's getting the rub from Danhausen,
and that's the coolest thing about it is Hook's going to be the guy. Danhausen's going to be the one getting beat down. They're going to keep winning, probably. All because of Hook and very little because of Danhausen. I could see very quickly this being like Smart Mark getting the pin on Danhausen, but I think this is the start of Hookhausen, becoming something. I don't know tag team champions, but they will fight for the tag team championships at some pay-per-view down the line.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying a Rampage or Dynamite. That's definitely a pay-per-view. All right, that was way more than I even want to focus on that. But I honestly think that match we were going to talk about. I mean, it's Hookhausen. Come on.
That's fair.
So now we have Jade Cargill with the baddies, Kara Hogan, and Red Velvet defending her TBS championship against Anna Jay.
Jade Cargill.
Yeah, it seems as throw together as it sounds. We've seen this not that long ago, didn't she? I mean, I think Anna Jay... Yeah. Kind of.
There's no build up to this. That's the unfortunate thing to this. That there could have been, and it would have been fine. Jade's in a good position. I'm just saying Anna was not.
I will only say this. I won't even talk about this match. Jade Cargill is going to win. But what I will say is, this is one of the first AEW pay-per-views in a while that I'm not overly thrilled about. it has too many seemingly thrown together matches for me. And AEW's always been pretty good with building, and I just feel like there's too much. And we're about to, not this next one, but the one after that we're going to get into, seems thrown together too. And it's a big match, but it seems thrown together. So now we have, this says 6-man tag. We know AEW calls them trios, and eventually have trio titles. It would be nice for it to be announced at Double or Nothing.
I mean, he's been sitting on some belts.
Yeah. We have the House of Black. Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King versus Death Triangle, Pac, Penta Escuro, and Ray Phoenix. So yeah, who do you have there?
I'm gonna go with Death Triangle.
Yeah, me too. I think House of Black's went over in the past, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when Eric Redbeard wrestled, who won?
House of Black? House of Black, yeah.
House of Black won? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Death Triangle here. I could see either side. If they're going to introduce the Trios title soon, maybe you go House of Black, because I think House of Black has a legit shot as possibly being their first Trios champion. But I think Death Triangle.
I mean, throw it together. Just announce it in the pre-show. Like, hey, this match is actually going to be for the Trios title, and whoever wins it.
The Trios tournament is actually what I'm excited for. So I
don't want
that
to happen.
Fair. I know that the rumor is, or well, not even rumor. I think Tony has went on record saying he has Trios title. He does not want to announce them until Kenny's back. So at the very least, there's going to be a tournament.
Back, but like in the background.
There's going to be a tournament, and Kenny and the Young Bucks will be a part of it, and probably Cole and Red Dragon, and there's so many. There's at least 8 that they can put it in there that don't seem too thrown together. 1 or 2 might be.
Yeah, look at that. They have so many trios that they can do, and then WWE has no women's tag teams. How about that?
All right, so here's the other seemingly thrown together match. The Hardys, Matt and Jeff, against the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. This needed build up purely because I know we've seen it on the indies, but people who watch AEW, I know most are indie literate, but not all of them are. This could have had a month-long build up, 2 months long build up.
This is mainly built on BTE. Which is the crazy thing about it. And I mean,
currently it has been. I know it was in the past when it happened before. I'm not up to date still on BTE, but
it has been. The past couple of weeks, the Hardys have been trying to get like the anger and the vitriol back from the Young Bucks because they've been like down and out lately since they've had a bunch of losses. So, sorry, why burp? The Hardys have been like egging them on. And like kind of being dicks to them and be like, hey, listen, it's all right. We lose. And it's a hilarious area. I can't wait to, you had to text me when you get to it. But like Jeff runs down all the teams they've lost to. Like in WWE and TNA. Like, we lost to this. We lost to them. We lost to the Acolytes. We lost to the Smoking Goods. Like it's hilarious. And then there's a good end credit scene with Christopher Daniels where he starts naming all the teams him and Kaz lost to in TNA and ROH.
But on TV, it has not been built.
Yeah, no, horrible.
It has not been built the way a match like this should be built, and that's the bad thing about it is
this. If we weren't pressed for time, this would be a great like fucking like Kool-Aid Man moment for like Mark, for formerly Entrance Man got Mark 76. This is just bust through like the Discord and be like, this should have been built up, not on PT.
So who do you have winning here?
Hardys.
See,
I also don't care.
If
not a bad way.
I want the Hardys to win because I could see this being built up to later. I think this is to get Young Bucks back in the tag team title scene. I have a weird feeling that we're going to see the Young Bucks win soon because I don't see Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus holding onto the titles for much longer. I wouldn't doubt that you get the Young Bucks. That's one of my
predictions,
I wouldn't doubt that you get the Young Bucks winning the titles and then eventually leading to FTR Young Bucks 3.
Again, yeah.
Almost. And the FTR still has the ROH titles. It's almost like a winner take all at the next pay-per-view. I can see that. It builds interest towards that. So I think the Young Bucks, but if the Hardys win, I think it's because we're going to get multiple matches out of it, and then maybe this is just the start of that build, not just a one-off. So
it's so funny because I feel like I say this every time we do predictions, but like this is also I don't care.
No,
and that's not to be in a negative way. Like it would mostly in wrestling, we're so negative on stuff. This is I don't care because I'm just excited to see this match yet again. It's years later.
I could say the same for the match before this, the one that we just did, the House of Black and that triangle. I don't know that either one of them needs to win or lose. I'm excited to watch it, especially with
it's like someone who's
strength.
not into sports and be like, "Yay, sports!" Like I'm just excited to see.
Well, it's
grown men beat the shit out of each other.
Watching the Super Bowl for most people.
Actually, this past year, I had no skin in the game.
Outside of having betting interests, the people that are just watching it, if your team is not in there, you're just wanting a good game, and that's all you want out of the last two. And honestly, this next one, I kind of feel the same way about. I just want this to be good. It was
fun.
I wish it was blood and guts, but it's not. So we have the Jericho Appreciation Society: Chris Jericho, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager versus Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and the Blackpool Combat Club minus Yuta Wheeler. Wheeler Yuta? There
you go.
I always say his name backwards.
You do?
I know, and I don't know why. It's stuck in my head.
Wheeler is in this Best of the Super Juniors.
Yes, and that's why he's not here. I don't know if they could have made this a 6-on-6 though. So I think this was planned, knowing he wasn't going to be there. Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley with William Regal in an Anarchy in the Arena match. So who do you have?
I am gonna go with Kingston, Ortiz, Santana, and the BCC.
Me too. I don't know what the fucking Anarchy. I'm assuming Anarchy in the Arena is just going to be Stadium Stampede in the arena. That's all. You're just gonna get a lot of backstage shit.
It was fun. I just want to laugh. I want to have some good times. Yeah, that's all.
You're just gonna get a lot of people waiting to buy a beer while they're doing it and.
For me, the saving grace for this match, not saving grace, but like who I'm going to be most excited to see play off like whatever the fuck they do is Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, and Santana Ortiz. Because I feel like that's going to be fun, funny, and brutal all at the same time somehow. Like Matt Menard himself, he's just going to be fucking hilarious over this match. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I assume, I'm imagining a lot of Moxley and Kingston doing bad things to Jericho and Daniel Garcia too. So I
expect there to be a joke too about like Eddie Kingston going for a drink, offering something to like Moxley, be like no, sorry, my bad, forgot, and then taking both drinks or some shit like.
So we both went Blackpool, right? So okay, Blackpool and Kingston, Santana Ortiz. So now we skip over these three matches because those are the ones we want to talk about. And now we have the three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. We have Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, the champions, versus Team Taz, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs, versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Who do you have here?
Team Taz. The thing is, it's time for them to get a little more push up. Especially with Ricky Starks.
I know they just had Lee and Swerve go over on Dynamite. Again, this is my wrestling thinking for those very old school wrestling fans. I just watched them go over, which means they're probably not going to win the titles. I could see them giving Keith Lee a title. Swerve is over. It would make sense. I personally... and the same as you, I want to see Team Taz win, and that could potentially lead to a Hookhausen versus Team Taz for the titles at the next pay-per-view.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You could see Hookhausen work their way up, and Team Taz has to defend it against it, and then Taz is conflicted. Do I go with my son, who's supposed to be a part of this? Do I go with them? To the point that he's trying to talk him out of it. I don't know if they go that route, but that is a potential. But saying all that, this is a very long-winded answer. I think that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus win this. I think this match as weirdly thrown together as it looks is on purpose because they didn't want Luchasaurus.
You know what feels weird is because they're going by standings. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's so strange to see them going by like, oh, who's the first place? You know, who's the top contender? Like in a more traditional sense, the way they always wanted it, because they really haven't stuck to that.
But I know they could stick with the standings and stuff like that, but this isn't. The standings were manipulated for this match because no knock on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, but they wrestled like 4 matches. They are not anywhere near the top of the standings. They just shouldn't be. I don't care.
And they're a fun team to watch because they both can move.
But they should not be at the top of the rankings. They should be a team that got added in here because they beat Ricky Starks and Powerhouse, right?
Yes.
In their tag match.
And that was their claim. They're like, we beat you so we can beat them. They should
have been added for that reason without them being on the standings at all. The fact that they're even in the top 5 with how strong the tag team, division is without them going over a couple of them. And that's where I see Hook and Danhausen. I could see them beating a couple fringe teams, over the course of the next month or two. And I'm not saying FTR or Young Bucks, but maybe you get them beating Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus in a non-title match or something like that. Or even Team Taz, who knows? But I think Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. As much as I want to see I do want to see Team Taz. I would be completely happy with Team Taz. And Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, I don't know where they'd go from there, honestly, if they're winning titles. So
I agree with you.
Yeah, again, don't want to spend too much time on it. So we got the women's championship, Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. This is another one where it's even the tag team before it that I just said, it's kind of thrown together because it's just like the tag team titles got added in to a Team Taz, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland feud.
It's like, let's add the champions. Like, what do we?
So this also is, Serena Deeb's been great. Thunder Rosa needs another credible win in her championship run. It makes sense in that, but it's still kind of thrown together. And
that's the other thing, though. It's the standings. It's a random thing.
Yeah. No, I do. I believe all that with this, and they do every once in a while have standing stuff make sense. That's where like the Anna Jay and Jade Cargill thing. Like I don't think Anna Jay's definitely not in the top of the standings. I don't quite understand that.
I wish there was a breakdown. This is dumb, and like I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. Like, is there a separate standing for you going toward the TBS title? But does that factor? You know what I mean? Like, usually, it's just women's.
It's
standing,
usually.
Right?
Now, the men's is the same, and the men's is the same thing. Usually, you'll see the guys competing for the TNT. They're like 3, 4, 5, and sometimes 2. I think Kaz was 2, when he was going for it. When Scorpio's guy said, "I'm next in line," I'm pretty sure Kaz was number 2 in the standings. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Punk.
For me, like it should. I want a breakdown. I want them to take it serious again. This is a topic for maybe its own show.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think you could split them.
Yeah.
If you split them, it makes it look worse. Makes it look
worse.
I
wouldn't say split them. I would keep it one. But like, all right, if you're placed this to this, you can vie for TNT title. If you're this to like 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, you can do world title or TNT. 2 to 10, you could do TNT only. You have to be number 1 for the world.
I think to get a shot, you have to be 1 or 2. Unless the champion...
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, 1 or 2.
But I'm pretty sure that's the way they've been doing it. The only time somebody who hasn't been at the top has gotten a title shot is A, they've won a tournament. B, there was something started where the champions almost challenged them. I don't think they focus on that enough, but actually if you pay attention... most of the time, not all the time, most of the time I think they've stayed pretty like... Somebody can walk up and challenge them, and then it's up to the champion. But, like, Hangman couldn't say no to Punk because Punk's number 1. He's earned his shot. So Hangman could have technically said no to Kaz if Kaz came up. Like, you're not number 1. Get to number 1, then talk to me. I wish they would.
I wish it was overt.
I wish they would do that.
We talk about that a lot
in
AEW, yeah.
I wish they would do that at some point to just show, like, oh, crap. Like, Hangman's like, nah, you're not worth my time. Get to number one, buddy, and then
this is very dumb. But what makes me think of it, and what I want is, no one's gonna remember this. Even if you're watching or listening out there, please tweet at me, tweet at the show, like comment down below, whatever. If you remember this, there was a thing, Rest Pass. I don't know if you remember. It was on Kids WB. It was while we were growing up, and there was this like fake action like karate tournament thing. There's action figures and stuff. There's a belt, and what you had to do, right? Let's say I'm like this like cobra guy, right? Like that's my symbol or whatever, and you have like this snake, like a turtle or whatever. If I beat you, I take your like emblem and I put it on my belt. Once I get enough emblems, I can go for the main title to combine all of them. Like I have to earn your stripes to get there. This is so stupid. I'm gonna text you tomorrow when I'm at work and tell you all about this. This is so dumb. I think they worked with WCW at some point too, as well.
Yeah.
As like kids' toys and stuff. But that's what I want. Like I want you to be like, all right, hey man, I have all these wins. I'll show you, and then like challenge, like or Afro Samurai.
See, the biggest problem with even doing that is AEW has been a big proponent of giving guys breaks and stuff like that. I think that's hard. Like, Miro hasn't really been seen since he lost the title. And he's doing other stuff. I know a lot of people are thinking they don't have anything for him. These guys love the fact that they could take a couple months off and still be paid.
Yeah.
I
would build that in the storyline. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, I'm vacating my claim.
But then it's just, I don't know. I feel like what they've done is not awful. It's probably the closest they can do. I just, like you said, they need to like talk about it more. Now, unfortunately, we have done everything I just said we were not going to do, and we have spent way too long on each one of these matches. We haven't even got done the last one, and we should be getting done in 3 minutes. So I'm going to try. We're going to have to run through the matches we were going to focus on.
Thunder Rosa, by the way.
Yeah, we were just supposed to say one sentence, and we just took 10 minutes in the last two matches. Yeah. Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb. Yeah, Thunder Rosa. I mean, she's going to win this. I would like to see Serena Deeb, but it's still too early. All right, so let's go to the biggies here. And actually, what I'm going to do is we can go to the Owen first, because I think there's more to talk about in MJF and Wardlow. So we are going to go with the women's, which we do not know the finals yet, and that's where I said we will put on Twitter if we guess one of the people is wrong or whatever, or another match gets added.
I'm going to assume Ruby Soho wins.
Me too. So we are going to talk like this is Dr. Britt Baker against Ruby Soho. If Chris Statlander wins, then this all goes out the window. But let's go with your prediction. We're actually going to go very quickly on these Owen Cups too. Just to kind of
I thought it would be. I just wanted to make the main focus, because that's such an important thing.
Right. So the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament final. Who do you got winning?
Britt Baker.
I'm going with Ruby. I think. I actually thought it was going to be Toni Storm. The fact that it's not. I thought we were going to get a Toni Storm against Ruby Soho final. The fact that it's not, I'm a little surprised. I don't know. I wouldn't be upset. You know what? I completely retract my statement for one completely reason I'm going to get to next. Dr. Britt Baker. Yeah. So, so
I feel like she's going to be the first Grand Slam champion.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to be the one to win everything a woman can. So TBS, main women's, and this Owen Hart Cup, which it looks like there's rumors there might be a belt from the recent.
I was gonna say it in the next one, but so it's kind of like the Dynamite Diamond Ring. You carry around a belt that you can't really defend. Somebody might see. I always expected somebody to compete for the ring against MJF.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And I'm surprised that I think it did like the first time around, like one time.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, I expected that a little bit more. But yeah, so now let's go to the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament final. We got Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole. Who do you got?
Cole.
Yeah, and that's why I switched my.
And I think it's going to be some shenanigans. Don't get me wrong. I think there's going to be some shenanigans. Also, I'm not picking Britt and Cole because they're a couple or whatever.
Oh, I am.
They both. Oh, really? I feel like individually they've earned their shot. I just think it's because this past Wednesday with Cobb and Great O'Khan, who, by the way, is living his best life in Las Vegas, just grabbing strippers' asses and stuff. Shout out to you, Great Okan. God, you're loving America.
Yeah. Now, I think it has a little bit to do with them being a couple. I think they're going to be able to like flaunt the titles.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, have the titles. Storyline-wise, they will be able to. Yeah.
But now, I agree with you.
They've won it on their own merit. They are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They've won it on their own. I'm not saying they're only getting it because they're a couple, but I do think that storyline-wise, it makes sense to give it to them. So they can flaunt titles that aren't really titles, and people can say, "Hey, these aren't championships. Like you're walking around like you're a champion." These aren't
honestly, if you think about it too, if you want to get brass tacks, this is kind of what I want to leave these to the end. They represent Owen in so many facets. Like Owen was funny and conniving, and he was a great heel, and he was a great worker. Like he's literally Owen or Brett for you. All around, not just wrestling, all around.
I was a Brett guy.
I was a Brett guy until a couple years ago when I thought back on it.
No,
because Owen is the total package, right? He's like Kurt Angle. He's funny. He can be serious. He's conniving. He's everything.
I'm not going to downplay Owen Hart.
Oh yeah. Oh no. There's no way to.
His career is overhyped because he died early. That can be a hot take for those out there that want to hear that. I don't care. His career is like Brody Lee. It's like Brody Lee. Brody Lee was good. Are we wearing the same shirt?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Oh man, I just noticed that.
You gotta come back, man.
We have the Mecca versus everybody for those of you listening and not watching. Mecca versus everybody. We did not do this on purpose. And I'm actually noticing that I messed myself up when I set this up before I had it where it was flipped, where you can actually see Mecca, and I guess something happened to OBS. Actually, I'm noticing something did happen to OBS. I've been recording with a little bit of streamer mode disabled, pushing our video down. It's all right. It's just the bonus episode. At least it's fixed for the next one. But yeah, now that is a story for another day, and people can get mad at me for all they want. But I think Owen Hart.
I want to do this as a topic.
Owen Hart is overhyped because of the way he passed. He's good. I'm saying he was over. His career, I think, is whatever word you want to use. It's dramatized.
I think it's potential.
People think of it with rose-colored glasses a little bit. Brian Pillman kind of gets the same treatment about his career. It was a good career. He was not one of the best in that sense.
That's fair. But when it clicked for me, short story where it clicked for me is when Kevin Owens was coming into WWE. As Kevin Steen coming into WWE, he picked Kevin Owens because Owen Hart's his favorite wrestler. I was like, wow, Kevin Owens, like you're from like Canada. I would assume Bret Hart. And I started thinking about it and thinking about Kevin Steen's career, Kevin Owens' career, and I was like, oh my god, he is like what we should have had with Owen Hart. And that'll be it. We ought to save that for a topic because I think that's a great topic.
Yeah. Now we can definitely have an episode about overhyped wrestlers. No, we could. I'm sorry. That is not. Is a very wonderful thing they're doing for Owen Hart, and I believe that it is well deserved. And I will leave it at that. I'm not going to. It was not meant to shit on him. I hope you all realize this. This was not meant to shit on him. It was just meant. I think people overhype it a little bit. That's all. So we will get to the match before the main event, and that is MJF and Wardlow. And I actually don't even think we have a whole lot to talk about on here. It's just kind of like you said, the same thing with Owen Hart. It's a big moment. I mean, this is 3 years in the making, basically.
Yeah, we knew this day was going to happen. They actually drug this one out compared to. Well, thank God they didn't drag out Cody and MJF because Cody's no longer with the company.
Had it,
yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Maybe he would have re-signed if they were still dragging this out because he felt like he needed something else.
I need to beat MJF. I think Wardlow wins. Okay. Weird though because I'm looking at the stipulation. Once you put a stipulation on something, that just ruins everything for me, right? Like Cody, I swear to God, I thought Cody's going to win against Chris Jericho because he's like, oh, if he doesn't win, he'll never go for a world title. I'm like, they're not going to do that. They're not going to paint themselves in a corner.
Yeah,
and they did.
I don't know. See, I always overthink these matches, and that's what I'm going to do right now.
By the way, the stipulation is if Wardlow wins, he will be granted his release from his contract with MJF. If MJF wins, Wardlow will be permanently banned from signing with AEW. Because then how do you do the storyline to have him come back to AEW?
See, now, the way I'm looking at it, I probably should have drank before I started talking. The way I look at it is MJF wins. This whole storyline with him and Tony Khan, where is it real, is it not real? Tony Khan saying, people get that he's getting to air on air. He gets to air his off-air grievances and stuff, and it's good for TV. And MJF responding, and
fucking, I hate this fucking place.
Yeah, I could see him winning, him saying I deserve a shot at the title. And then basically saying, well, let Wardlow sign with the company and you can get your shot, or something silly like that. But that's a WWE way of thinking, and that's where I'm overthinking it. That's a very WWE style way of thinking. Wardlow's hot right now, and I feel like that only works. Very hot. That only works if you keep him off TV for a month or two, and I don't know that they're going to want to do that.
Yeah.
So, but then again, do you really have Wardlow run through the competition? And what do you do? What does he do? Because we already watched him destroy CM Punk. So if CM Punk wins the championship later, there's that. We've already watched him basically get cheated out of winning the TNT title. Do you have him become TNT champion and do kind of what Jade has been doing? Him winning, I also don't know where to go from there. So I'm at a loss because I don't know. Outside of the stipulation, I don't know where to go. Like, I think
he's obviously a face. You don't want to change him.
Yeah, and like CM Punk winning.
You know what he could do.
Do we have MJF go over CM Punk? Is that the whole point of putting the title on CM Punk?
Punk doesn't care. That's a notch on his belt.
Like, I could see Punk having the.
By the way, we just spoiled who. We both want to win Sunday.
Yeah.
Our final prediction.
But yeah, that's where this match confuses me because I just don't know where you go with either man.
Yeah.
MJF, I feel like, needs to go towards.
He needs to be the world champion.
The world championship. I think he's going to get it soon. I think that's why they're ramping up the whole him being upset. I think he eventually becomes the champion. Wardlow could lose.
You're right. They could do some stupid WWE bullshit to bring him back. It's just annoying.
It's just like you want your title shot. You have to wrestle enough to get it. Then you have a whole Tony Khan, MJF, Tony Khan, the on-air Tony Khan, MJF calling him out and Tony saying, look, you don't wrestle enough for us to even put you up on the rankings. You have to start wrestling more. And MJF's like, I beat everybody, how?
Yeah.
So then it's like, all right, well, allow Wardlow to sign with AEW and I will get you your shot. Or something accorded. Now, Wardlow's been off TV. It gets MJF heat because that. Now, he's like, fine. And then maybe you could see CM Punk losing the title after he just won it to MJF. And now that's a whole thing. Because that could turn Punk heel. I don't know. I'm looking too far down the line, and I say all that because I don't understand where they go. But I say Wardlow because it is the easiest path through the stipulation. So I'm gonna go Wardlow, but this wouldn't be the first time that we were surprised by a stipulation, aka Cody, where we were all convinced, and then it went the other way. Yeah, but
they'll actually use bullshit logic instead of Cody being like, no. We made the stipulation. Like, shut the fuck up. You could just be champion anytime. You own the goddamn company. Yeah. And now he's in WWE.
But, yeah. So, I don't know. I wouldn't doubt that this becomes like a disqualification or something.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm really happy to see Wardlow, his rise so far in WWE. I was thinking Wardlow could go after the Jericho Appreciation Society now that they're bad guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just run through each one of those members going to Chris Jericho at the next pay-per-view.
I don't know. But, yeah. So, yeah, basically we're unsure. And that was why this is one of those matches, because I just don't know where they go. Yeah. I always want to see MJF
I didn't even think about the stipulation. I forgot about it completely until I looked at the thing. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Right. So, all right, well, we're going to have way less time for the actual episode than I thought. So now we get to the main event. We already kind of gave who we thought was going to win, but we will talk about it anyway. Hangman Adam Page against CM Punk. Hangman Adam Page is the champion for the AEW World Championship. Who do you got, Carlos?
Punk.
Yeah, me too. I think this is the time Punk wins it. I had talked about in the past that Punk necessarily does not need it for very long. He just needs it so his name is on the list of AEW champions.
You sold me on that, by the way. That's why, because I would have been Page, but Page is going to be the first 2-time champion.
And maybe Wardlow winning earlier gets MJF off TV for a while. And maybe MJF's off for TV and he's complaining on Twitter constantly. And maybe that's what leads to a Punk MJF. Maybe not the next pay-per-view. Maybe we got 6 months of MJF coming after Punk. Punk beats
Revolution.
Punk beats, I don't know, but I could see Punk defending the title against Kenta at Forbidden Door, which is where I think this night ends. I think.
You think Kenta comes out?
I think Punk wins the title. I think, because they made reference to it, for those of you who may not have heard it. Yeah. I think it was on Dynamite 2 weeks ago, when Hangman's going for the GTS, and he said, they said, he's using your move. How do you feel about it? And he said, I see it as a form of flattery. He's saying there's some people that don't like it when you use that move. So it made kind of reference to Kenta with it. So I could see this leading to Forbidden Door. Did not mean to punch my mic. I could see this leading to that. Hangman's run has been subpar compared to everybody else. I think they need to end it. Getting the title on Punk is a good thing.
Good. It's
subpar. Come on. It's the worst of the 4. It's the worst of the 4. You can admit it.
Jericho, Moxley. Yeah. Okay.
And Omega.
Fair. That's comparative, though.
It's the worst of the 4. Honestly, it's the worst of the 4. I know him and Danielson had a nice, but it's the worst. This whole, the fact that everybody got hype over the back and forth Hangman and Punk had on Wednesday shows how weak it's been, because that was an okay exchange. Hangman, I did not think did that well, for comparison of what MJF and Punk were doing to each other. Hangman did not do well. It was just better than what he's been. So a lot of people got happy about it, but he did not do very well in that exchange. That exchange was weird a bit. It just was. If you look at it in a bubble and not look at every other exchange they've had, it was this is kind of weird still. The whole Hangman turning heel seemingly, like it's weird. It's been weird.
Last couple weeks, I will agree.
And that's why I said this pay-per-view as a whole has just been weird. I don't know. This is the first time that I felt like I don't know where you're going with a lot of this. It seems like they have another special show coming soon. That they are kind of lowballing this, because that one is going to be better, and I don't know if they have anything coming
2-for-1
soon.
special on BR.
I don't know if they have anything else coming soon, but this seems like a very WWE pay-per-view. It has that feel of not being the top shows, and this is
like their first one too, technically.
Yeah, it's still stacked when you look at it, but like the Hardys and Young Bucks could have been built great. And you could have felt better about it, and now it's just another match. Jade Cargill and Anna Jay is kind of useless. I mean, you could have put a lot of other people in this spot.
That's fair. Against
Jade. The House of Black and Death Triangle kind of went on pause purely because of Rey Fenix's injury, and they couldn't control that, but it's gotten drawn out almost in a bad way now. They were supposed to get the blow-off match probably last pay-per-view.
I would assume so.
The Jericho Appreciation Society is a good one, but Blackpool Combat Club kind of just gotten thrown into it again. long-term booking 5-on-3 and the Blackpool. We even talked about this. I said about potential of LAX having Hernandez and Homicide come in as the other two. We've seen the writing on the wall, but Blackpool Combat Club being thrown in again, kind of random. I know they tried to make sense of it, William Regal and Jericho and all that stuff, but kind of random. Then we have the Owen Hart Cup Finals. Random just because there's not feuds leading up to it. It's a tournament.
It's an actual tournament.
The tag team title match, random. It is literally Team Taz against Keith Lee and Torres Strickland thrown in with the titles.
And the titles happen to be just right there.
Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa, random. MJF and Wardlow, 3 years in the making.
It's the only one who would build.
Hookhausen and Tony Nese Smart Mark probably have the second best build of this whole pay-per-view. And they're on the pre-show. And then Hangman and CM Punk, again, seemingly thrown together because Punk was number one. Punk said, I want the title. He's going against them. That's fine, but it just seemed weird. So that is my thing on this. I don't want to talk about it too much longer because we're at 41 minutes. I want to stop at 25.
Damn.
So either way, there are predictions. If anything changes between now and the weekend, we will put on Twitter, probably underneath this episode, on YouTube, whatever. So if we have to make any changes,
we'll comment or something.
But yeah. So on that note, we'll see when we see it.